fishing buddies. They simply tie a noose around the bird's neck and they give it about 50 feet of line. Once they had a fish in their mouth, they bring it right back to the boat, slap them in the back of the head, and out came the fish. A Native American way of fishing back then. Now, if you look at the background back there, between the two large buildings, and you look really close on the water's edge, you're going to see a huge alligator sitting there sunning himself. And if you have a nice zoom camera, you can zoom in on that guy. Way over there on the left side, between the two buildings. What is that? These buildings are known as pump stations, and they control the water levels in the city canals to avoid the flooding in the streets when heavy rains come in. There's over 250 different sized pump stations throughout the Everglades Canal system. Once again, these birds are known as double-crested cormorants. Take a little break here. And don't miss that photo opportunity of a large gator laying by the banks over there. You see a little white bird walking towards them.
That one is.
Now, I do have several safety rules to go over with you as we continue our journey. Please, folks, no smoking out here for the next hour. I'm sitting above 40 gallons of high octane fuel, and I know you guys don't want to be on CNN News tonight. It is also very important to keep your hands in the boat at all times. There is a lot of creatures out here that will jump out and bite you. And the same goes for the plants. We've got a lot of bugs out here. Some of them bugs can even crawl to your skin. They'll make you so itchy and scratchy. You're going to be entertained on the way back home. Now, for those that are taking pictures, please remain in your seats. I promise when I see something, I'll spin the boat around. Folks, there's no need to rush over to one side here and become Alligatorville. And if you happen to have any food, please keep it with you. It's against the law out here in the state of Florida to feed or even try to pet one of the cute gators that we have out in the wild. So grateful if we make it back. At this time, I'm going to ask you all to please hold on to your loose articles and get blown away. I'm going to go on speed trail now.
Okay.
Hang on, folks. Here we go. pads that we're going to be floating over are known as the yellow pond lilies. They were used at one time by Native Americans in their diet. They would take the roots from the plants and would either roast them or boil them. And you folks are going to notice the little yellow flowers that are growing on. You pick the seeds out of those flowers. Pop them just like popcorn. I'm going to warn you before you go reaching for little flowers. There's many different water spiders and snakes to live here. Some got a very nasty bite.
I would hope.
The Everglades is made up of about 5,000 square miles of wet prairies. And the canals that you see out here and in the cities, they were all dredged in the early 1900s by the Army Corps of Engineers. They dredged all these canals so they can have dry lands to build homes on and raise cattle. Underneath all the water and muck, there's limestones and coral rocks. Millions of years ago, it all used to be an ocean. It's all fresh water now. The depth of the man-made canals can go anywhere from about 20 feet deep to 10 feet deep for the smaller ones. Aside from all the wet prairies and the miles and miles of canals, Everglades has clumps of islands that are known as the hardwood hammocks. And they make a nice habitat for many different species of birds. There's also black bears. There's white-tailed deers. We've got wild hogs out here. And as far as cats, there's plenty of bobcats. It's unfortunate that Florida panther is dwindling quickly, almost to extinction. Their biggest enemy is the automobile. You folks that are sitting on the right side of the boat, if you look up in the branches of the trees here, you're going to see black vultures up in there looking at you.
What are they? Vultures?
Out here sometimes you see the turkey vultures. They're the ones with the red faces on. Also known as buzzards, they do a nice job out here trying to keep the areas free of bacteria and diseases. These guys are the cleanup crew. The buzzard is the cleanest bird in the glades. These guys bathe about 5 times a day. Up here on the left side, the black vultures. Look around and you won't even see that turkey vulture that has a red face. We've entered one of the shallow areas in the glades. These lily pads, they only grow a maximum of about 8 feet from the ground. Anyway, you see the plants? The depth can go from 8 feet and they can all drop you 1 inch in no time. Folks, don't be surprised or alarmed if you see a fish jump out and land on your lap. If that happens,
Eat it.
just scream as loud as you can. And I'll climb down there and save that poor little fish.
Get it, man. Catch him.
Now, I want to show you guys a lizard that lives out here. Not native to Florida. They come from Texas, Central America, and the northern parts of South America. I'm talking about an iguana. And you guys that are sitting on the left, you look just above your heads here in the brush of the trees, you're going to see a large male up there displaying the orange colors in his skin right now to attract the female first during the mating season. That male iguana you see there on the left side, you can get as far as 6 feet in length, from the tip of his nose to the tip of his tail. The females don't get quite as large, about 3 feet at the most, and the females, they stay green year-round. People buy these iguanas in pet shops, and when they get too large to handle at home, they just release them here. They get so used to being in a crate with the heat lamp above their heads, when they encounter their first winters out here, we usually wipe them out. The further north they travel in the glades, the less chance that they'll have of survival. Guy sitting on the right side, you got a little Godzilla up there, sunning himself. The more sun they get, the brighter the orange colors will be. The male iguana.
How's your drink, Willie?
Yours is less than. Mine what?
Should've got
I
five.
said Dave's is less than.
Should've got 5 pack.
He doesn't know. There's no way you didn't see it, right?
Well, that's cold wine. I'm running to go get some more.
Actually, at the point, he would have had enough time for his own.
And now it's all hang on again. We're going to go quick into a wide open area known as the flats.
They said in the morning. Hold on, bud. There you go.
In the evening time, these shallow flats are full of alligators hunting their food down. Let's all keep a sharp eye open. I see a gator out here.
We're gonna see a gator. Let's see a gator.
The Everglades is nicknamed the River of Grass. And that's because it's actually a river. It's the widest river in the world, measuring approximately 50 miles wide and 100 miles long. It all starts out of Lake Okeechobee, located just north of here. It's flowing south very slowly, at a quarter of a mile per day into the Florida Bay.
Got that a quarter mile a day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please get your cameras ready. I see an alligator.
Oh, get it ready, Ashley.
Alligator.
I'm going to show you guys on the left side first.
That's us. Watch you come right in the road.
Got it ready?
Yeah.
You see him over here laying on top of a patch of mud up here in the front left, sunning himself.
Oh. Look out there.
The bony ridges they see along their backs, those are called scutes. And not only does it work like a good armor, it works like solar panels.
He's right there.
Alligators are trying to absorb as much sun as they
That's a
can for
one-eyed
energy.
gator.
These guys are nocturnal hunters. They're cold-blooded reptiles.
He's plastic.
Now sometimes when the alligators lay real still like this, people always ask me if it's a real gator. They even tell me they're all kind of plastic and rubbery. And all I can say, if a gator can pull you up, you make me think he ain't real. He's done his job. They'll lay real still like this, waiting for something to make a mistake.
Oh, wow.
The safest and best way to measure these alligators in the wild without getting bit or wet, all you gotta do is look in front of those eyes there and then go to the back of their nostrils. By simply converting the inches into captive feet, you're gonna get the approximate length of the gator. It's a lot easier than splashing around out there with a tape measure. Folks, these guys are born with 80 teeth. 40 on the bottom and 40 on top. The bite is measured at 2,000 pounds of bone crushing power. If a tooth breaks off, another one grows right back. They go through about 3,000 teeth in a lifetime. 80 good reasons to live alone. Now this little brave white bird that you see landing on the mud here, the snowy egret, one of the smaller wading birds, and he's got little yellow feet. And when he's walking around the mud like that, he likes to wiggle those toes around, acting like worms to attract little fish. That's his favorite diet.
Gator's just gonna eat his ass. Just eat
I
that.
think he even sees that gator there. Get a nice lunch here. If you ever encounter one of these gators on land, folks, they can run 15 miles an hour up to 10 yards at a time. There is a rumor that says you can zigzag away from the gator.
He's gonna eat it.
And I'm here to tell you to forget that tall tale. As soon as you start to zig, that gator's going to start to zag. And you're going to wind up right in their mouth.
Brad says, did you have any luck with those other calls? It just says Brad. It just says Brad. No luck.
Gator. Here, boy.
Did you get one on picture?
The snowy egret has decided to go to the other side.
Let's see him for a day.
Folks, I found the best way to get away from the alligators by simply turning around. You run as fast as you can in a straight line. Trick that person in front of you.
Showcase.
That's good. Then you're gonna get a close up this one because we'll go back by there.
He'll lay there all day long until the sun sets. That's when they become very active. Later, gator. in this area. If you can hold a picture underneath the lily pads, it looks like a forest. You're gonna get fish, turtles, and snakes. They'll come in here, fill their bellies up, waiting to ambush them. Will be the gator. The most dangerous alligator out here is the one you won't see. They can get 3/4 inches of their body straight up and grab at anything that looks like food. Folks, they love little cameras. Don't lean out too far. He is a lightning quick.
Birds were coming up on it, but then they turned.
Next, I'm going to show you a species of the most colorful bird that lives out here. They were hunted at one time with their beautiful feathers. They notice the purple gowns, and you're going to see a pair over here on the right side on top of the lily pads. Their favorite diet is a worm that lives in the stems. They spend most of the days running on top of the lily pads, digging away at their stem to feed themselves as well as the little ones. The juveniles won't get the colors until they're about a year old. Colorful purple gowns you're going to see here on the left side.
Oh! That is pretty. Yeah, he just dancing on the block.
Let me tell you a little bit about these other birds that you see buzzing around us. First, these are the most aggressive birds out here. They're known as motel grackles. I'm going to warn you, we call these guys sky rats. If you got any food, protect it heavily, or they'll steal it from you. These guys work as a team. A couple of them will distract you, while the rest just simply watch you. All they gotta do is see a French fried potato chip and they're gonna be all over you.
He's probably out there throwing stuff for them. I guarantee he's throwing stuff up there.
Flying rats.
The females are the small brown ones and the males are the larger black and blues. However, the females outnumber the males out here. It's no wonder the poor guy's black and blue. I warn you, beware of the motel grackles or sky rats.
You're out, Woody. What you see now, Willie? Sure, whatever you say.
I want to get tan.
See, it's a hippopotamus.
trees that you see in the water on either side of the canal. They're called a pond apple trees. And they do produce little fruits looking a lot like apples. 6 months out of the year. Now, if you were to eat them at the wrong time, you're going to get sick. It's a high toxic fruit. They'll start out looking green, like a lime, and when they get ready for pickings, they'll turn yellowish in color. Some folks out here will even make jam out of it. And it tastes terrible. I see another gator.
You see what?
A little guy.
Little guy.
Way over here in the front left.
Oh,
Laying on top of a little patch of grass, but
Cute.
back sectors.
Drive over, let's pet it.
Believe me, folks, even little alligators out here can create a lot of damage. And they mentioned they were born with 80 teeth. They sure know how to use them very well. The female alligator is going to lay anywhere between 20 to 50 eggs. Out of those hatchlings, 2 of them might just make it to become adults. They become victims to all sorts of predators when they're young. Especially raccoons. Raccoons eat the eggs before they even hatch. And once they hatch, they're only about 6 inches long. Then they got to deal with all sorts of weighty birds, the large fish, and even the adult bell gator is going to come after his own. A gator grows about a foot a year, up to 6 years. And then they only grow 1 inch thereafter every year. Alligators are on their own and right after the first year.
Shelby? You got bony butt? Bony butted? Want me to get a thing out of there and you can sit on it like this?
We got our deer hiding in the grass here on the left side.
Oh.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see his mouth. They know where to find him.
Right there with his mouth open in the grass. He's got his whole mouth in the grass. No, this way. Right at us. He's got a whole mouth. Much less.
Now the alligator's not a man killer. Like it's causing the crocodile. The only time they lose the natural fear of humans is when humans feed it. The gator will associate you with food. Until one day you're going to show up without it. You're going to become his dependent. That's why it's against the law in the state of Florida to feed alligators out in the wild.
See his teeth, Shelby? He must be in the dentist. Look at me get a rocket. Oh, I'll cut this shit Wake up, alligator. You don't care.
Now, if you come out here in the evening time with a flashlight, you're guaranteed to see several eyes looking right back at you. At nighttime is the best time to come out and see alligators. All you need is a good light. Their glowing eyes will let you know where they're at the whole time.
Come right in the boat.
It's a good thing they wouldn't do that to us. If you do come out at night, you gotta deal with the worst animals that live here. The mosquitoes. And we've got some skeeters. The size of helicopters. If they even see you spraying insect repellent yourselves, they just laugh in your face. Sitting at the left side. If you look way over there at the front left on top of the pond apple tree that's in the corner, you see the bird of prey up there that looks a lot like a bald eagle making all kinds of noise. It's a large fish-eating hawk. The osprey. Like eagles, they use their talons to grab fish from the surface of the water.
Looks a little battered.
And the best way to tell these ospreys apart from bald eagles, the osprey's got the white underside. Bald eagles have the white heads and the white tail feathers.
Oh, that's a swamp.
taller grass that you see here is called the cattails. That is very important for the young wildlife. The little guys, like turtles and snakes. The birds and even baby alligators. They're all going to hide back in there from a larger predator. Sounds like the alligators coming your way here, doing the old sneak attack through the lily pads in the front left. Careful, folks.
Oh.
What's up, alligator?
It's a female. Look how lovely she looks.
Finally. Finally, we got one on remote control. Go back and see him again.
Yep.
Oh, here he
On
comes.
the right, Sam.
See, he coming.
Did she dive underwater?
No, he's right there.
I don't see him.
We'll see. We're gonna get people on this side. Nice peek at him now.
Yeah.
Where's your wife
You
over
probably
there?
get a good
little
picture
bit
of
back.
her.
Oh, don't push her in. She's just brand new married. Wait 30 years.
Now the best way you can tell the males apart from females by looking at them. If you look really close at that face, you're going to notice that the female alligators have green eyeliner and red lipstick.
There she is.
Folks, there's no way you can tell by looking at a gator if it's a male or female. Their behavior, that's what gives them away. Males are very aggressive and territorial, especially during the mating season. They will fight desperately for the lady rat. The only time the female gets aggressive is when she protects her nest. You go anywhere near her nest and she'll tear you apart. And for the most part, the female gators, they only get as long as 9 feet. Anything over 9 has got to be a male. The average length for the adult male gator is about 12 feet long. The largest alligator fished out of Florida, it measures 17 feet 2 inches. And the world record is still standing at a whopping 19.5 feet out of Louisiana in the 1900s. They can weigh to 1,000 pounds, and they'll live anywhere between 75 to 100 years old. You know, the gator's swimming around here in the front left.
Oh, look at that big bastard.
Now, the best way to tell the alligator from the crocodile,
That's a big one.
the alligator's snout is broad and wide and rounded over the front. Crocodiles are longer and narrow, and they go almost to a V at the end. The colors are different also. Gators are black or brown when they're wet, and charcoal ash when they dry. A crocodile will have a slight olive green coloring to its skin.
See him?
We do have crocodiles here. Everglades is the only place in the world that you can see alligators and crocodiles in the wild. The crocodiles are mostly found in the southern part of the Glades, along the mangrove swamps by the Florida Keys and along Florida Bay's Gulf of Mexico. The crocodiles down here are strictly saltwater brackish. These alligators are freshwater
Coming
only.
back to get you. Look.
It handles very little brackish. See ya.
See you later, alligator. He's looking right at you now, eh? Yeah. Just lonesome little guys, huh? That one will probably be in
Now, folks, I won't be able to spin around any further for the remainder of the
beach
ride.
tomorrow when they need
I'm
them.
going to recommend you keep your eyes along the lily pads and by the banks edges. Might see an alligator. Also, keep your eyes on top of the trees here in the final stretch for more of those iguanas. be noticing a big difference in the size of the pond apple trees compared to the ones you seen earlier. Some have doubled and even tripled in size. And the reason for it is the pump stations. They're going to pump our hill the nutrition and fertilizers that folks put in the lawns and live along canals in the cities. It works like miracle grow. It's not that great for the water. If you look at the branches of the palm apple trees, you notice a couple of air plants hanging out. One looks a lot like the top of a pineapple. These are called bromeliads. And once in a while, they're going to have a bright red-orange flower in the middle. Another popular air plant is the long, stringy one known as Spanish moss. And Spanish moss was introduced in the Glades in the 1800s by the Spaniards. The main reason they brought it with them was to be used for bedding when they slept. I see another iguana up here in the front left. He's got his girlfriend sitting right, laying right in front of him there in the lower branches. All in green.
Oh, right there.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Now, if you look on top of the banks, you're going to see the trees that have dark, smooth-looking trunk and branches. They're like reddish brown in color. These are called the double limbos. We call them the tourist trees. If you look closely at their trunks and branches, they've got red peeling bark coming off them. It reminds us of what some tourists look like when they sit out in the sun. Now, folks, I'd like to take the opportunity and thank you all for coming out and visiting this beautiful, unique Florida Everglades. I would also like to remind you folks, including the airport ride, you have a nice alligator show. Ladies and gentlemen, us airboat captains, we work for tips out here to make a living. Not only do I look for alligators, I try to find many different wildlife for you in just 1 hour's time. I hope you got nice pictures and you learned a little bit about the Glades to share back home with your friends. And folks, I hope you enjoyed my ride. Your generosity and tips will be gratefully appreciated.